Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about specific song selection. And this is applicable whether you're a solo player or you're in some kind of group of really any size. It doesn't matter. When I started playing covers, I couldn't figure out why sometimes I was miserable after gigs. And it was usually due to the fact that it had to do with the response from people or lack thereof, um, and boredom on my part. Um, and I'm going to tell you about a shift in emphasis that I made a very long time ago that made it possible for me to always have a good gig, no matter what. And it basically has to do with how and why I choose the songs. I used to do it like everybody. I would go and see what other people were playing. I'd kind of take notes about what was on the radio. I'd listen to requests that people were making, either for specific songs or for, artists. And I'd go and make my list. And there's a couple problems with that. The first one is you can't please everybody. There's going to be people in the crowd who want pop songs. There's going to be people who want country. There's going to be people who want up tempo stuff, people who want something mellow, people who want something, that came out last week, etc. The other problem is I didn't want to play a lot of these songs. I was playing them for them. I wasn't playing them for me. So that kind of created, the boredom part of it. So I decided to just embrace my own kind of natural inclination to, you know, do things a little unconventionally. And I just said, forget it. I'm gonna make sure that I have a good time and that I enjoy playing. I think it will come through in the performance. People will, kind of get the energy that I'm getting from playing songs that I like, and we'll just see where the chips fall. And there's a couple of caveats to this. First of all, I have a couple of advantages. One is that I have a pretty wide vocal range, so I can do a kind of wild variety of songs, and they sound very different. So I can do, a Leon Redbone tune, a real baritone thing, or I can do a, Police tune, this high tenor stuff. And I also have always had really good sound systems. So this is important. Like, you have to have those, the performance boxes checked. You have to be able to sing, you got to be able to play, and you got to sound good, right? If those things aren't there, no song list, no matter how unique or surprising or wonderful it is going to save you. um, and make no mistake, there's always going to be people who are requesting these songs. They're going to be, can you play Wagon Wheel? How about Last Dance for Mary Jane? Tennessee Whiskey, whatever the case may be. But they're the vocal minority. Okay. The silent majority, I have found, really enjoys an eclectic, unique, surprising set list, as long as it's good. It's got to be played well. Okay, you got to sound good doing it. Um, but they want to go on that ride. We've all been at gigs, if you're a professional musician, where the same two or three people keep coming up and making requests, and they're usually requests for the songs that everyone's requesting. And I don't know, it's some weird affliction that these people have where they feel they need to control the music that people are hearing. I think they're the same folks that, when we're in the bar and they've got those jukeboxes that you can, load up with your phone, they'll load up 20 songs and they're all the same stuff. I don't know. It's just they got to prove their music knowledge or something. I don't know what it's about. Um, but I get requests for these songs all the time. I'm not immune to it. People always come up to me. They're, can you play Tennessee Whiskey? And I very politely say to them, I'm sorry, that's not a song that I do. And I'm telling you, inevitably, they always say the same thing. Oh, no big deal. Just thought I'd ask. You're doing a great job. Keep on going. And I think something's happened in the last, I'd say, 7 to 10 years, but it's really accelerated, recently. And that is, people are used to kind of eclectic um, song lists being played in their presence. When I was growing up, and it was all, the radio and all that. I mean, it used to drive me crazy. You'd hear the same song every, the same, whatever it was, 40 songs a day. They just recycle them and play them all the time. I think it created a mindset with people, or maybe it's a literal thing where they they only know 300 songs in the world, and wherever they go, they just kind of, request one of those. It's different now with Pandora and Spotify and all that. Yeah, people are completely fine with songs being pulled out of left field. Um, it's best if it's something that they're kind of familiar with. But trust me, I do some stuff that even fans of the artist don't know the song. It's such a deep cut, but it's a good tune. It's like a really good song. And I'll have people come up to me and they'll say, "Is that an original?" I mean, no, I don't do originals. And they're really pleasantly surprised and very happy to be exposed to something new. That's a different thing. That's again, that's only happened, I'd say, in the last, like I said, 7 to 10 years, and it kind of makes this whole approach that I'm talking about almost be obvious. And remember, you're the musician. Like in their eyes, you're sort of like the musical expert. Like you know what you're talking about and you know what you're doing and all that. Trust me, I know a lot of musicians who are in a very small box of what they listen to. But this is the perception from the general public: is that you, as the musician, you're qualified to take them on a little bit of a trip and expose them to some stuff that they may not be familiar with. And as for specific song selection, I strongly recommend that you start with the vocals and always stay focused on the vocals. Pick songs that you can sing really, really well. And if you have to change keys, who cares? Do it. Bring it into your range. It's better to sing an obscure song really well than to sing a popular song not well. Don't be reaching for tunes that you think people are going to love, but you can't really handle on a vocal level. It's not necessary. There's hundreds, thousands of great songs out there that you can sing and that you can make work with your vocal range. So don't be going after stuff that you can't do, and don't be embarrassed about the fact that you can't do it and or do it well. These are world class musicians. They're rock stars, et cetera, et cetera. There's no shame in not being able to pull off a Journey tune or a I don't know, a Soundgarden tune or some of these incredible singers. There's no big deal. Just move on. Find something that your particular voice is tailored to, and lean into that. Um, you know, there are plenty of extremely successful, famous artists out there who don't have incredible voices. So that's not the prerequisite for people being entertained. Um, they want to hear your voice and songs that fit your voice. If you stay with that mantra as a starting point with all of your song selection, your set's going to go much better. So the main takeaway, I guess, that I'm driving at is if you're going to be playing consistently and you don't want to, number one, go insane with boredom because you're playing songs you don't really like, or number two, be disappointed at the response that you're getting from people, you have to stop making it about them. These are things you can't control. Okay. Even with the method I'm talking about with mixing up the set list and so forth, there's plenty of times when I play gigs and it's dead silent. No one's responding. It doesn't matter. I could light myself on fire and I'd have to call the fire department myself. I get it. This is part of playing out live. But do you understand that if I remove that like metric of, oh, do they like it, do they like me, do they really, if I get rid of that and just make it about I'm having a great time and I'm always having a good gig. Doesn't matter. They could sit there and not have one response. I could have 2 people or 200 people. It doesn't matter. That's the mental shift that I made a long time ago, And it's why people will often say to me after a gig, and there's not many people there, they'll come up and be like, man, you're really into this, aren't you? Like, this was great. Like, I don't, if there's two people there, if those two people have a great time and they stay longer and they come up and they say, and they just genuinely enjoyed it, that's a win. That's a win. But regardless, there could be 0 people there. I'm getting a win because I'm walking out with a smile on my face because I chose the songs that I want to play. I sound really good and I'm just having fun. I'm just there to have a good time for myself. That's how I measure it, is did I have fun? Of course it's better if they're there and they love it. And, it's a big crowd and they're all dancing and singing along and all that. Of course. But that's all gravy. That's all cherry on top. My point is I don't ever unload after a gig with, hanging my head and going, well, this was such a drag. There's nobody here. No, I unload from the gig and I'm like, I got to play Home at Last and I got to play, Cousin Dupree and all these tunes that I like to play. That's the shift, and it comes across in your performance. So I guess the mantra, if you want to boil it down to a single sentence or phrase, is I have a good gig if I have a good time playing songs that I love to play and it sounds really good. Period. That's it. That's the only measure. Those are the only boxes that need to be checked in order for me to, at the end of the night, pack up and go home and be like, you know what? I just had a great 3 hours. So go choose songs that you love playing, stuff you've always wanted to play. It doesn't matter if it fits the genre or fits. If you love the tune, I play an Engelbert Humperdinck tune in my gigs. People love it. They go crazy for it. Okay, but I'm also playing Steely Dan and whatever classic rock stuff and singer songwriter stuff. But I throw that tune in. A lot of people don't know it, but they love it. They're humming along, looking over, and being like, "Yeah, I've always wanted to play the song since I'm a kid." Okay, and it sounds nothing like the original, but I love it, so I threw it in the set anyway. That's just a weird example, but that's what you want to do. You want to go out and create a set list for you first. Okay, do not put a song on that list that is for them. Not one. Okay, and you'll see the whole experience just transform. You'll have more fun. You'll look forward to the gigs. You won't care if there's people there or not there. And the measure of a successful gig will completely change, in my experience. You'll actually start to look forward to going to the gigs, and you'll be kind of giddy about taking people on this ride that you've put together for them. And it's much more of a kind of curated performance as opposed to just some kind of robotic jukebox, regurgitation of the same old that they're hearing all the time. So anyway, that's my 2 cents about specific song selection. Oh, one more thing, I just remembered. When you're picking songs or when you're making the set list, try to pay attention to keys. Okay, this is something that I see frequently when I'm seeing other people play that they don't do. They'll play like 7 songs in a row in G, for example, and it just sounds like a drone. So when you're making your set list, be conscious of the keys of all the songs and that you don't fall into a rut of playing in the same key several times in a row. If your vocal range is limited, um, it might be a little bit more difficult to do that, but at least pay attention to it. Don't just throw the set together without that in mind, because again, we as musicians sometimes can't hear that or we don't pay attention to that. But it can create a kind of weird level of boredom for people if every song is in the same key. Anyway, that's my rant for today. Hope you got something out of it. Feel free to leave comments, shoot down the whole thing, whatever whatever you want. I'll respond to all of them. Anyway, good luck out there.